I think it goes deeper than that, though, too. I mean, it's a fundamental. It's funny because the older you get, the more you look at the children and say, God, they're complacent and everything else. You realize I am younger than you. I know I might have a white beard, but I still am younger than you. I will highlight. You heard that. I'm younger than her. Damn it, she looks too good for that. But I mean, going back to what I was talking about, I mean, every time the generation looks at the next generation coming out, and they're like, oh, they're soft, they're weak, they're etc. But are we not really at a point though where the generation that's coming up younger than like Gabby's age and etc. Where they're just inherently ingrained into this complacency, consumerism driven society, and it's me. Something has got to be fixed there in order to fix it up here. You can't fix the top and expect the base, your foundation, to still remain strong. I mean, you've got to do something.
That's part of the problem with government. Government has taken over education. Right? The curriculum comes from a high level up here. It doesn't come from teachers. And
I think the problem too is that with education, people think that if education gets into private hands, that the kids aren't going to get educated. That's just not the case.
Well, they're going to get educated in a different way. The problem is the government wants to control education because let's get these children at a young age. We can indoctrinate them into what we believe to be true.
We can remove the history that we don't want.
Let's go back to, forgive me, I mean, I know it's a little controversial, but the Communist Manifesto, and a big part of it was education. And the younger we could get children, the better.
Yeah, basically, that's it.
It's indoctrination. It's not about education. Education was about pulling out of a child their strengths, identifying the weaknesses so that they were able to best use the tools that they possessed to function in the world. Today, we're pushing children to do things that they're not interested in. I mean, here's an interesting statistic. Kids today, 50% of them are on some sort of medication.
Wow,
right?
50%?
50%.
No kidding.
Why?
I didn't know
Why?
That. Didn't know that.
Why? I mean, I know in our school when I grew up, which wasn't that long ago, despite your white beard, wasn't that long ago. I mean, we may have had, a little bit of attention deficit but I mean, that word didn't even really exist when I was going to school.
No, it didn't exist.
Now we have ADD, ADHD, we have this, that, everything else. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, what changed? Yeah. I can guarantee you in my class, there was not 50% taking some sort of prescribed medication so they could sit through a classroom for 45 minutes and then go into another. And we had physical education, we had art class, we had home ec. Why are we teaching kids like life skills? Here's how you cook your meals. It doesn't happen in the microwave on a daily basis. Yeah. Here's how you balance a checkbook. Here's a budget. Oh my gosh. Imagine that.
Well, you can't teach kids a budget because the government has no idea what a budget is.
Well, that's just
They don't know what a deficit is. They don't know what a surplus is. They don't know what a budget is.
But that's my point is, why is the government teaching kids at all anything outside of how to read, how to write, and math?
Yeah.
Those are the fundamentals.
Let's take away their lemonade stands.
Well, and they've done
That's just it. You can't have lemonade stands anymore.
Let's take away that free enterprise.
You've got to have a license
that they got when they're 7 years old.
You got to have a license for a lemonade stand. God forbid, there might be something in the water.
A risk to go and stop at one of those lemonade stands.
I don't know about you. When I see a lemonade stand, I stop at that stand. I get myself a lemonade. Yeah. I know I might be taking my life in my own hands, but if I'm going to go, it's going to be with a glass of lemonade. That's all it's to it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, education has always been a private sector thing until very recently, and we've seen when that shift has happened, a decay, I think, even in the quality of the education that children are receiving, and you're seeing that.
I'm going to change your terminology from a private to an individual and home-based, a family or community-based.
No, but it hasn't
been run by corporations.
It hasn't always been home-based either. I mean, my parents went to a one-room school.
Yeah.
Right?
But community-based.
But it was community-based, absolutely.
We hired the teachers.
And if my child has an aptitude more for arts, why would I be forcing sciences, when maybe, there should be option and choice in the education system. Otherwise, let's agree with what we have, and it's not education, it's called instruction.
Yeah, and I mean that opens up the whole gamut of, should you be going to university? Should you be a trade school? Should you encourage the arts? Should you not? I mean, it's just
It should be a personal decision, and we've taken that away from people.
Well, every time the government
taking
gets
choice
involved
away.
in these things and directs them, just with even getting involved, you've already predetermined an outcome, which is going to be excluding. Thank you. Another point of view, because I mean that's the problem when you get these bureaucrats, and I was a bureaucrat at one point in time, and they have their mindset and they say we're going to do it this way. Well, their blinders are on; they don't necessarily see what's happening out this way. Whereas that's the role and responsibility for the parents to choose, the child to be involved in, and the community to get involved in. It has nothing to do with government. Well, maybe there's some basic standards. You have to be able to read. You have to be able to write to a certain level. That's about it. And math. Fundamentally, that's it. We don't need...
Well, there are some other ways that you can actually run the school system. It doesn't have to be, you can do it with vouchers and that sort of thing. But that's a discussion for another time, I think,
Well, completely.
Education.
Completely.
But, and I got to say, I agree with the voucher system, where you take your voucher and you can go to any school you want. And the schools compete for your business. And I think that's a really good. Why do we say that competition is good? Yet we don't allow competition in medicine. We don't allow competition in schooling. I mean, competition's good. We don't allow it even in the post office. Let's get competition working for us.
Yeah.
To lower prices too.
Let's circle back though, because you're right, Barry. I mean, that's a conversation we could sit here and talk about for hours. Exactly. I mean,
if you've enjoyed this excerpt, please don't forget to watch the full video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.